Coming up this week, off-screen.
Colin Hardy conjures a nun.
The American animals are unleashed.
It's Die Hard at West Ham for the final score.
Chloe Moretz gets miseducated.
There's a hurricane in the sky.
Iggy Pop's praising nothing.
Paul Conroy takes us under the wire.
And Saoirse Ronan is a seagull.
All those to come and more off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. 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 With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
Ooh, welcome to Off-Screen. I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
Yes, we are the Movie Marker film review show. No,
Yeah,
that's the.
It's happened.
It's happened. We've moved over. All the idents have been upgraded, and
It kind of took me by surprise. First time I've heard that.
it's just jarring when you expect.
I didn't know where I was.
Well, we're still the same fun guys. We're still cool. We're still hip. We work for the man. No, we don't work for the man.
You're still cool. Trying to pay later.
So, we've had a week off after our 150th episode. That was fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that cake that we had.
Yes, it was a cake in the shape of the Meg.
Oh yes. Have you listened to the episode of How Did This Get Made?
I have listened to the episode of How Did This Get Made, and it delivered on
45% yay and 55% oof.
Do you know what I really loved about the idea of Adam Scott and Paul Scheer taking the mick out of Meg, though?
Because they're in the Piranha films.
They're both in Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
And just like, but the Meg is a way better movie than Piranha 3D.
Oh yeah, I think they're aware of it.
Yeah, I know. You're just like, but when they rag on it, you're like, oh, this is pot and kettle now, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
but
they all liked it, though.
Yeah, they're all fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, so before we get to the news reviews, box office top 5, all the usual accoutrements, let's talk about what's been going on in the film world this week. And I think you were saying Captain Marvel's kind of the big discussion point for this week, isn't she?
Yeah, because yesterday the new issue of Entertainment Weekly was released, or photos from it were released online, and on the cover, wouldn't you know, is Captain Marvel.
I know, and she looks an awful lot like the one they did for Captain America years earlier as well.
Yeah, so that's great.
I like the parallel.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, Entertainment Weekly have got a habit of like debuting a big official image of the big superhero films.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
We did that for Shazam recently. Obviously, we've done it for all the Marvel films.
They did that big one for Infinity War, didn't they? Had all the cast.
That was a great one.
That was a good cast.
Yeah.
I think that's still my Facebook timeline cover.
Really? Yeah. And it's like some of the shoot like 24 different covers, wasn't it?
Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but,
it was mad.
Captain Marvel's looking good.
Yeah, well, there's some like official photography and
Images out
pictures, some like behind the scenes pictures of people looking a lot younger,
and with extra body parts that they didn't have before.
Yeah,
and
which is
no, it's true. He still had the eye. He just okay.
Yeah, it was an eye and an eye socket, and now it's 2 eye sockets and 2 eyes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and Andy looks like he's in Goodfellas.
I thought he looked like
it's insane how good that is.
I thought the way they've de-aged Samuel L. Jackson looks an awful lot like Samuel L. Jackson in Triple X in the first one. He looks exactly
I think he looks younger.
You think he looks younger?
Maybe I have to go back. Yeah, maybe after I need to go back and watch Triple X. No one's ever said that, have they? I need to go back and watch that Rammstein opening. I need to go back and listen to Fry Fry at the start of Triple X again.
Don't even. I love the soundtrack to that movie.
Well, we were all into new metal once.
Yeah. Well, don't you remember that was the album that came with 2 discs, and one disc was rock and the other disc was hip hop.
I do remember that. Yeah,
disc 1 was rock tracks. It was like the Rammstein, Adrenaline,
Drowning Pool.
Yeah,
because of course he drop out of a plane and Bodies is playing.
Yep, he does.
Yeah.
God, I love that song. It's so versatile as a song.
Isn't it? Yeah. I think it was going to be in Phantom Thread for a while, and then Paul Thomas Anderson couldn't get it right.
That is a version of Phantom Thread. I really want to see. If anyone's out there and wants to edit that for YouTube.
Stanley Lewis eating breakfast.
Yeah, just to bodies at the floor. That'd be amazing. But yeah, so...
the Captain Marvel images look good.
We get to see Lee Pace back as Ronan the Accuser, one of them, I believe.
Yeah, and
Jaimon Hunsu as... who did he play now? Korath the Destroyer?
Yes, but in this he's just Korath, a guy.
He's not earned his Destroyer rank yet.
No, because it looks like he's in a team with Captain Marvel. So they're part of a team called Star Force.
Oh my god, I didn't know all this. Okay.
Did you know this is what they've said in the article?
Oh, okay, I didn't know this.
Marvell, who Jude Law is playing, he's like the commander of Star Force. And the film is not going to be an origin story, so she's just going to have her powers.
Okay,
and
awesome.
she comes back to Earth. There's a picture of Ben Mendelsohn looking like Ben Mendelsohn, who's apparently going to be working at S.H.I.E.L.D.
I like that idea.
Is a Skrull.
Oh, okay. Even actually, the thing is though, he does look like he would be a Skrull in disguise.
Yeah, he's called Talos the something. Talos the Untamed.
I just like the idea that Korath hasn't had that moment yet where he accidentally knocked a mug over in the canteen, in the work canteen, and someone's like, "Oh my god, you destroyed that!" Aha, Korath the Destroyer. And then it sticks.
It could have been Korath the Stapler. Could have been Korath the Faxer.
Late again, Korath. Oh, Korath the Later.
Yeah, Korath the Unreliable.
Space names are so cruel, aren't they?
Aren't they? Yeah. But it looks good. Of course, it was gone.
It does look good. And that's out next. Is it February or March next year?
March, and then a month later is Avengers, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called.
The press tour for that's going to be really fun because what do you think they're going to get asked about all the time?
Yeah. So, I hope this is going to be enough of its own film though. It's got room to breathe.
I think it does look
Avengers.
like it will. I mean, I'd imagine all the Avengers 4 stuff can be a post-credits thing. That with Captain America, the end of Captain America. Captain America's its own film, and then a bit after the end credits, when he wakes up and Nick Fury's there, he's like, "Hey, you've been asleep for 70 years, or whatever."
Then here's a mini trailer.
Here's a trailer. It'd be great if Nick Fury just turns up at the end of this, before he turns to end of Captain Marvel, before he turns to dust, and says, "Here's a trailer for Avengers 4. Go and kick some ass."
What, just breaks character? It's the fourth wall.
Breaks the fourth wall. Yeah. Furious 7 style. Yes. There was an idea. Group of extraordinary people come together. When we needed to, fight the battles we never could, all that stuff. But anyway, we need to talk about a film. We'll plug the podcast real quick because extended podcast edition comes with our moment of cage at the very end because we had no way of signing it off otherwise. Peace out just didn't work. Yeah. And of course, a couple extra reviews this week that we can't fit into the radio edit, which this week is going to include The Seagull, which stars Corey Stoll, Saoirse Ronan, Annette Bening. Pretty good cast in a Chekhov adaptation.
It's a good cast.
In Praise of Nothing, an art film starring Iggy Pop. And Final Score, Die Hard at West Ham. So if you want to hear reviews of those...
we're not doing that in the main show?
No, I want to give that proper room to breathe. We need to be able to breathe. And
Batista needs room to breathe and room to vent about Disney.
Yeah, but also, I think we're going to need to curse, if I'm honest. So we're probably better off doing that in the podcast extras where we can bleep it.
Nice.
So, yeah. All those on the podcast edition. Check out Acast, iTunes, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn.
It's all the stuff.
All those podcasty bits.
So what film are we going to talk about now?
We're going to talk about Hurricane. And
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so Hurricane is a new film from director David Blair. Did you ever see Red Tails?
I did, actually, yeah.
Did you like it?
I liked the idea of it. I like the true story it's based on. I don't know if I necessarily like the execution. Love the cast.
No, the cast
amazing cast.
Like Cuba Jr. and Terrence Howard, was that who it was?
Yeah.
And David Oyelowo was in there, wasn't he?
Oh, Yellow. I only said that because there's a video where he's trying to doing it, trying to teach me what I'm saying. Who else is in that? I'm going to look that up.
Good.
Yeah,
I remember
it's one of those weird films. I didn't necessarily like the film, but I knew there's a really good story in there.
Well, imagine that now, like the same movie, only this one takes place with the RAF instead of USAF, and instead of the Tuskegee Airmen, it is the 303rd Squadron Hurricane, which is made up largely of exiled Polish pilots, who, of course, were forced out of their homeland by the Nazis when the Nazis occupied Poland. The government then worked in exile from the UK, and some of their pilots joined the RAF were put into their own squadron because it was just a way of just putting them to one side, and basically had to fight for respect and the right to get in the sky and kick some ass and try and free the homeland. We have a clip. It's a trailer clip, but it sets the tone pretty nicely.
CO3, a bunch of fools. I'm flying with whoever will have them.
For some reason, the RAF have deemed you fit for purpose.
Just get us up there and we'll finish the job.
Today's a training exercise.
4-5, back in formation now. Paskovich!
Sir, these men are irresponsible, arrogant, and ill-disciplined.
We shut down many Germans.
Hurricanes are getting destroyed as fast as new ones are being delivered.
You English need all the help you can get.
So it's got not quite a romping, brim and bluster, militarised, pro-war tone. There has that tone to the trailer. The reason I find that so funny and I like using that clip is because the film itself is actually quite charming and funny.
Okay.
And the marketing doesn't really reflect that. The star here, if you can call him really the lead, I mean, he's got the most screen time, arguably, is, right, you're going to have to help me pronounce his name, because I've tried and I can't do this. He played Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. Ewan
Rhian.
Ewan Rhian.
And if you want to go really Welsh, it's like Rhian.
Okay, Ewan Rhian.
My wife has seen him twice He was in Spring Awakening, which is a musical about suicide and teenagers. Oh. And then, he's an amazing singer. Incredible singer.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, he's got his own, solo stuff. And, check him out.
Well, he's great here. He's got swagger, he's got bluster, he's got a bit of that, not quite a leading man charm, but sort of definitely a great comic relief. This guy is a comic relief sidekick performer in the future, and he'll be great at it. Not in a way that will make you think of him as a sidekick, but he can be part of a good ensemble if you allow him to do the comedic, sort of swaggering, charming parts. Here he's part of, an ensemble of, and the screen times and the script times dotted around sort of sporadically. A pretty diverse little ensemble made up of his fellow pilots. There's always, and they each have a distinct personality type. There's the rebel one and so on. So,
well, presumably the rebel one is Mel Gibson's son.
No, that's their commander. He is the token Yank. It is a very thankless role. Milo Gibson. Yeah, who also I discovered recently starred in the directorial debut of Carlisle from Twilight actor Peter Facinelli called Breaking and Exiting, which is also written by Eureka actress Jordan Hinson, aka the jailbait girl from Harold and Kumar's Very 3D Christmas. Now, I tried watching not Hurricane. I tried watching Breaking and Exiting for 11 minutes before I gave up and said...
Before you...
No. Yeah. No, I'm not doing this.
Breaks and exited.
I broke and exited immediately. Hurricane, I had a much better time with. David Blair noticeably handles the dramatic sequences better than he does the wartime sequences. However, he does have on his side some really terrific visual effects. In that sort of way, there was that Russian sci-fi film a few months ago that cost $5 million and looked like an $80 million superhero movie.
Oh, what was that one?
Do you remember that one with the aliens? This has that same kind of budgetary impression going for it. It's obviously a film that's been made for £3 or £4 million kind of a thing. This looks like a £50 million war film easy. You can very easily imagine that. Cast are on there. Stephanie Martini plays a quite impressive part as arguably the female the love interest, female lead. And there's a diverse cast in there of known British actors who pop up for small, sort of relatively thankless roles as the brass and like that. In the end, I came away from it largely thinking this has been a good time. I had some fun with it. It had enough charm and enough cheeriness in it to sort of keep me going. It's obviously quite a dark story in places because it has to be. It's a war story. It deals with prejudice within the military and things like that. And it has a score that threatens to derail it at any time. The score is ludicrous on this. But the actual film itself, otherwise, pretty damn good. I had a good time with it.
Cool.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, shall we get religious for a moment?
I mean, sure, if we have to. We're both quite agnostic.
We are, aren't we? Is it agnostic or atheist? I don't know what I am half the time.
It depends. Well, all right, let's go really religious. Do you at all believe that there could be a God?
Oh, God, no.
You, my friend, are an atheist.
Yeah, okay, there we are.
Yeah.
No.
Whereas I am a little bit more just ambivalent. If there happens to be a God when I die, I'll be like,
I'm more...
F me, right? I'll be like that at the end.
I'm more the I can't quite buy the idea of an omnipotent sky wizard. Anyway, different part of religion entirely we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about The Nun, which is the latest instalment of the Conjuring series, a series that now has more spin-offs than it actually does banner instalments. So there are actually more Conjuring spin-offs than there are Conjurings.
We've had more spin-offs than your mum.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks for that. So this latest one is directed by Corin Hardy, who brought us The Hallows. The Hallow?
That's what it was.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I could picture the poster in my head.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what it was called.
It had a really cool poster, didn't it? Where the title was
It was
made
like
out
red
of
and
tree
orange and
vines.
it was very cool.
Yeah, really. It wasn't a great movie, but there was something about that movie that stuck with you, and I think it was the sort of the visual sensibility of it and the imagination within it.
It's just singular. It is The Hallow.
It is The Hallow. Okay, right. He has joined the Conjuring series now for this latest spin-off, which explores the background of the nun figure from The Conjuring 2, who I think in Conjuring 2 we were led to believe had some sort of connection to Vera Farmiga's character, and now we're going to get the movie explaining that. Okay, so this takes place in 1952, in which a medieval castle that has been converted way back when into a convent, which there's a logistical part of which you won't believe, and is surely a warning sign for anyone who would ever visit it. But it's basically a big medieval castle in Romania that is now a convent. Two nuns are trying to protect something from an evil, malevolent force. One is killed, the other jumps out of the window and hangs herself, and is found by a local merchant named Frenchie, who turns out to be the buff, swarthy kind of lead male love interest type in this.
Is that Damien Bashir?
That's not Damien Bashir. Right, Damien Bashir then comes into it, as does Taissa Farmiga, the youngest sister. Yeah, exactly.
It's all connected.
Yeah, right. Okay, believe me, it is connected. I don't think they actually specifically say it. I think she's meant to be her older sister. I think, maybe.
Just having that casting happen,
Yeah.
it's like... Yeah.
We get backstory on her. Now, I don't remember... and we get backstory early on. I don't think it's meant to be a big spoiler or anything. I don't remember certain events in the first Conjuring movie, so I think this ties into some things we were told there, and there's something that comes later on. Like, I don't remember that bit. I need to rewatch that movie. So rewatch the first Conjuring movie before you see this to get the full effect. Otherwise, you can pretty much skip the rest. Vera Farmiga and Damien Bashir are two investigators sent by the Vatican to investigate this suicide that has taken place at this monastery and determine whether or not this medieval castle that has been turned into a convent and must be guarded 24 hours a day by sustained prayer, which the nuns take in shifts.
Turns, right.
Yes, so that there is always prayer coming out.
First of all, I think they should have been called church police.
Exactly. No, they are called miracle hunters, according to this movie. Bashir tells us they are called miracle hunters. Do you think they'll find a miracle at this monastery? At this convent, sorry.
I think there's a decent chance.
Let's find out.
The Abbey has a long history.
Valak.
Not all good.
What?
Finley came down. Callahan's here.
I mean, the first thing that really struck me with this, I mean, especially considering, like we say, there's more spin-offs than there are Conjuring movies now, is, first of all, this is really trigger-happy with the idea of, let's just casually toss out a few spin-off pictures, shall we?
Well, they're not going to be that expensive to make, are they?
Oh, no, they can't be. I think I counted 4 in the film in total. I think there are 4 casually mentioned little mini-stories that you just know are going to turn into films in their own right. I mean, the second thing that struck me actually was when it started, the Warner Brothers logo came up. I kept expecting it to flip round 180 degrees and be like, the Conjureverse, or something like that, like the Dark Universe thing.
Well, I think we should have just done that to annoy Universal, just have it say Dark Universe and then have it rotate again and say something else.
Well, like it skids, reverses, and then comes back again. With
it says Dark Universe, and then it was like, nah, mate, this is how you actually put a universe together.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was it, because they did this stealthily. We now have a fully fledged horror cinematic universe.
Yeah, they've kind of done it backhandedly, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been done on the quiet. No fanfare. No one stepped out and said, this is what we're going to do for the next 20 years.
I think it's the way to do it. I mean, in a way, it's kind of what the MCU did to begin with.
Yeah, really, true. Yeah. Well, the first 2, I suppose, were conceived.
That's it, yeah.
Anyway, so with this, you've got Corin Hardy, and we remember, like I say about The Hallow, it had a memorable visual sensibility and a sense of imagination. That does translate across here. Taissa Farmiga makes for a compelling lead. It's just weird at times when you forget that she's Taissa Farmiga and you sort of briefly think that you're watching the young Vera Farmiga. I had a great time with it. And Damien Bashir is, kind of standard the standard male lead for these things. You know, like he's taking over from Patrick. Patrick Wilson obviously got the biggest part of all the male leads of these films, but you look at, I can't remember who the one for the first Annabelle was. There's Anthony LaPaglia that took over for Annabelle Creation. Same kind of part here for Demian Bichir, who's still cool as hell, by the way. I'm really glad to see, because
he's great.
Big fan of him in Weeds. Anyway, and there's lots of spin-off setting up in. There's a few little mini jumps, but I do think kind of ruining the fun is that there's far too much time spent following the characters in different darkened rooms trying to find one another. It's well enough put together. It draws gleeful creepiness from the setting. Although, let's be really honest, it's a pretty feckless director that can't wring some atmosphere out of a medieval convent.
Oh, you've been dying to.
Oh yes. Well, you know it's in my house. Can we just settle that once and for all? I literally write the things I say in advance. They're on a notepad in my phone. Okay. This is bullet point scripting at best.
Whereas me, I've got no idea what I'm going to say.
No,
I am flying. I'm
man.
flying by the seat of my pants.
Exactly, you freestyle. So basically, this is because of the procedural nature of it, which is the investigators going to investigate this mystery. That setup puts it structurally more in line with the Conjuring movies than it does the spin-offs. The weird thing is, this also turns out to be the best one of the spin-offs. So you can't help but wonder if that might be why. So what you've got is effectively a Conjuring movie that's built to the standards of the spin-offs that just happens to have a director with enough imagination to actually make something work out of it. It's the least scary, but it's the most engaging and interesting one. And if you want a bit of amusement, the Mother Superior, who we never actually, I don't think, get to see, just seems to have the voice of Celia Imrie, and that stuck with me. But,
is it her?
It's not actually her, but it just sounds an awful lot like Celia Imrie. But so The Nun, if you're a fan of this series, you're going to love this. If you weren't a fan of the series, then you're going to think exactly the same of this, so stay away.
Yeah. I don't know anyone that is a massive... Well, is just a fan.
Well, I'm a fan of the Conjuring series.
That's the thing.
But the main series.
But I don't know anyone that's a fan of this in the same way that someone's a fan of...
Halloween.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. And I was like, well, obviously Halloween is Halloween. It's difficult to even find something...
Or like a Friday the 13th fan. And yeah, I know what you mean, where that is their horror franchise. Yeah. Where everyone has that one horror franchise, don't they? But I think, would mine be Final Destination? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I would if I were going to volunteer my horror franchise, I think it would be Saw. But I think
it's difficult to compare them, isn't it?
I think in terms of what I watch the most, would probably wind up being Final Destination.
Yeah, these are just films that I can just watch on a Saturday night and be mildly entertained.
That's it. I mean, the thing with going into any Conjuring movie now as well is you have the added perk of knowing it's always going to be pretty good, because the worst it could possibly be is Annabelle. So you've got a quality marker. You know they're not going to make anything worse.
That second one is pretty good, I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what happens when you get interesting directors to helm your spin-offs and your sequels. You wind up with things like Ouija Origin rather than Ouija.
That's it. Yeah,
and that was who was that? That's the guy I really like who did Gerald's Game.
What is his name?
It's going to drive me insane.
And he did that weird mirror film, Oculus.
Yes, it was really clever, and then just dropped the dice to the last half hour. But apologies, that's me getting an email because someone forgot to...
I thought we had a new noise whenever we finished talking about a film.
Every time I get this, I think it was a Facebook notification, it always sounds like the first note from Nine Inch Nails. Every day is exactly the same. But
it
does, doesn't
that's
it?
a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It just goes on and on and on, and yeah.
Okay, let's get a quick review in, and I want to spend as much time as possible talking about it, so I've got to be as quick as possible. The Miseducation of Cameron Post.
Yeah.
Which is a new film from Desiree Akavan, who brought us Appropriate Attraction 4 years ago. That was pretty good.
I'm automatically zoned out just because I don't like
Chloe Moretz. Right, okay.
And I need to get out of that mindset.
Right, you do, and this might actually be the film to do that. Now, let me explain. So, Chloe Moretz stars as, would you believe it, Cameron Post, who for the purposes of discussion and speed and efficiency, I'm just going to call Campo forever now. Okay, so she's hashtag Campo.
Is she called Campo in the film?
No, she's Cameron. So she's hashtag Campo to me. So Campo is a high school girl, goes to her prom. She and her best friend have their prom date. They go to prom, and wouldn't you know it, Chloe and her best friend get found in the back of a car by Chloe's date. And their secret is outed to the world. Bear in mind, this is 1993. Her parents are very religiously conservative. They send her to one of those Pray the Gay Away schools.
Ooh,
the camps. This one is run by John Gallagher Jr. from 10 Cloverfield Lane, is it?
Yeah, and Hush and the Newsroom.
Newsroom, yes, I'm a big fan of him in the Newsroom. And, right, this is run by him. He himself has been converted by this process. The centre is run by he and his, I think his sister, who's played by Jennifer Ale, just ice cold. She is ice cold in this. She plays it just perfectly. And, well, it becomes a question of, does she want to, quote unquote, fix herself? What is the truth behind this process? And really, a little bit of social relevance. Here's a clip.
Welcome to God's promise.
And you are at an age where you are especially vulnerable to evil.
Change will come through God, but within me.
We're going to spend our time together investigating what led you here.
In the past, I would resort to self-pleasure, but then when I learned that that was a sin also, I stopped.
So there's a generation now that are going to see this as their One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And it does play like that. It plays like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with, gay conversion rather than a mental hospital, although they're portrayed not entirely dissimilarly. I mean, Jennifer Ale plays a pretty good Nurse Ratched, albeit, 1990s, more outwardly sensitive Nurse Ratched. Well, I mean, comparatively, she's still an Ice Queen. Right, so here's the Chloe Moretz factor. Chloe Moretz, naturally, would you agree, has something of an otherworldly quality to her. There's something... I tend to think of her as being quite cartoonish as a person, as an actress, sorry. Like, she is quite a cartoony performer. Would you think?
I find it difficult to separate her as an actress from her as a person.
Right, okay.
I shouldn't ever do that with anyone. I don't think anyone should do that, but unfortunately it's difficult to not fall into that mindset.
I don't have that problem. I don't particularly have that problem with her. Now, for the purpose of this film, though, her natural sort of otherworldly quality kind of makes for dynamite casting, because the whole gimmick of Cameron Post herself, aka #Campo, is that she feels like an alien in her own skin, that she feels uncomfortable no matter what box she's put into. It's about questioning who you are and just basically feeling like the outcast in any given room. And because of that otherworldly quality that Chloe Moretz has, this actually works a treat. The script has a sort of sense of sort of cynicism and irony running through its veins. These kids know, that this is ridiculous, that they know, look, this is nonsense. We're just going to say what we have to, fake our way through this. We all know this is nonsense, yay Jesus. And, exactly like you would expect to hear at one of these Pray the Gay Away camps. I will say, this comes not long after, was it Will and Grace that did the big gay conversion camp episode? This last year, and that was really good.
I didn't hear that.
No, they did a really good episode with Sean Hayes. Sean Hayes breaking into a gay conversion camp, and it was one of the best episodes of an already great series. This feels at times like a bit, kind of like American Honey. Now, American Honey was also set in the 90s, as far as I know, as well. And Sacha Lane does turn up in
I was going to say, I thought she was in that.
Go figure. Sacha Lane is the sassy, rebellious patient, client, inmate. What do we call them? Students.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going with inmates. There's some great side cast in there. Emily Skeggs as Chloe Moretz's roommate is genuinely terrific. I thought she played this so well. Chloe Moretz herself, this is career high for Chloe Moretz. This is a really layered, really moving performance. I did find very moving. I will say this, though, only because I've saved the clip for this. It has an all is lost moment, like this film. You know the classic all is lost moment. And it plays it so unsubtly. It literally plays it as...
the all is lost moment!
I've just always wanted to use that. So, I did. I really enjoyed this. I think this has... the thing it lacks for me, I think it's a really, 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 really good movie. However, it's lacking something for me that would have made it a great movie, and it's that something that I actually, believe it or not, complained about BlacKkKlansman for having. In the way that BlacKkKlansman in its final minute just takes a sledgehammer to your head?
Yeah.
This kind of...
It's just like, Spike Lee.
Yeah, this kind of could have done with that in a sense. There are moments in which they reference, sort of very today, contemporarily ridiculed concepts like safe space and recognise your truth and stuff like that. It mentions things like that in a very specific way that leads you to believe, oh, they're going to try and reconcile this with, where we are today. They're going to say, okay, look, we're going to use the past to tell you about the today. It doesn't quite do that. And I think that's what would have made this a really taken it from a really, really, really good movie to a really great movie. And other than that, I still think though it is really, really good.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So time for you and me to have some fun. We like doing this. Do you want to do the top 5?
Yes.
Number 5.
Searching.
Did we get to review this?
I don't think so.
Was this the week we were off? This is one of the weeks we were off.
We missed it. I've still not seen it. I will see it eventually.
Very, very good thriller. And also, going back to, because we were talking about Will and Grace 2 minutes ago, stars Deborah Messing this one as well. Deborah Messing is, I think, the second lead in this.
I feel like I don't know who is in some films recently. I'm very surprised with certain castings.
Well, John Cho is terrific in that. He has now ascended to that age where he can play a suburban dad to a teenage daughter. Like, when did that happen?
It's mad because ITV2 have been showing all of American Pie recently.
It's so weird. It's like, you've seen like 20 in that, maybe?
Yeah. And I guess because of the Harold and Kumar films as well, he always kind of seems around his 20s.
He kind of does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But, so he's terrific here. This is a really, really good thriller. This is, I think, when it gets to the end of the year, I think this is going to turn up on a lot of people's best of lists. Visually, it's not entirely dissimilar to Open Windows by Nacho Vigilando, which we reviewed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
With Elijah Wood and
Sasha...
Oh, the porn star.
Sasha Grey.
Sasha Grey, thank you. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, what porn star?
Exactly, Sasha Grey from The Girlfriend Experience, not porn. Anyway, like Open Windows, but delivered as a much more tense, grounded thriller. There's some requisite twists in there. You can kind of see the biggie coming, but it deals with it so well that you just go with it and you have a great time. It is a really, really good thriller. So, has anybody given us a tweet on the matter?
At TBH Jovan, so to be honest, Jovan, says in all capitals, but I don't want to shout because I don't want to ruin my voice.
Fair.
Just be aware it's all in capitals.
Okay.
All you guys need to watch #searching_movie! Exclamation mark. I thought that it would be bad because it was filmed all in the point of view on a computer. This grammar is amazing.
Okay.
But to keep me captivated at the end of my seat the whole time is just wow. So many plot twists, and then an emoji of a face doing one of these.
Oh, the Home Alone emoji.
The Home Alone emoji.
The Home Alone emoji.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's Megalodon.
Number 4.
Shut up, Meg.
The Jaws.
The Jaws, which I think is one of the most fun movies of the year, hands down. It's a perfect August release, isn't it? The Meg?
Yeah.
But it was great. It was the end of the summer, kind of, and that's always. Do you know? That's when they dumped Deep Blue Sea as well, way back when. That was like in August, just before the kids go back to school release.
Yeah.
And,
I think the best way of describing it is meant to be a serious film, but they've just made it badly. I think that is the best way of summing it up. It is for me, yeah.
Oh, I thought this has been made with its tongue great. This has been made to Piranha level.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is that self-aware. No.
Okay, I think maybe it's just assumed.
I wanted it to be, but viewing it through, they tried to make it a little bit more serious, and that's why there's not much blood or gore.
Well, I think that's arguably just to keep it
PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13, and because this was going to make money no matter what. But
they
not get the PG-13
They could have blooded it up a little bit. I still enjoyed it. And if it was anyone else, if it was anyone else but Statham,
I don't know. The Rock could have pulled it off. Still,
but also you wouldn't have been making it for the same budget if it was The Rock.
You wouldn't, and also, let's be honest, we wouldn't question it as much if The Rock tried to fight a giant shark. If The Rock just, grabs a knife and goes after a shark, we kind of expect that of him.
Well, what else are we going to do?
Fair. So, has anyone tweeted us about The Meg?
Yes, at Kirsty Leone 1. I have no words for what I've just seen. # The Meg, and then shark fin emoji.
Number 3.
Black Klansman.
Which I loved. Did you get to see this in the end?
Yeah, I told you, yeah.
You did. You really liked this as well, didn't you?
Loved it. And it was amazing.
And that topicality of it. Wow, that is... That's way to rein in the subtlety there.
I wasn't as put off with the last 2 minutes as what some people were. And maybe it's just because I knew that was coming, actually.
Yeah, I think we
told me
softened that blow for you. I think.
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't as the flag is upside down, black is white, up is down. Yeah, I was just... Yeah, and then everything before that Well, he was so tense at one point.
How good is John David Washington?
Incredible.
He's so good.
I can't wait to see him.
I'm such a fan of his.
I can't wait to see him be Jon Stewart for the DC.
Oh god, that would be good casting.
It'd be an amazing casting.
Great casting.
Surely, like, he's.
And like age-wise, he's
be
a
up for
perfect age because that means he could do a franchise for 20 years.
Exactly.
And yeah, come on.
And he's got something now that's like giving him some fire. So now he needs a franchise like that.
Yeah, of course,
absolutely. It'd be ideal.
I mean, you just know, like, because Universal released Black Klansman, Universal, like, quickly, which black superheroes do we own? Like, just find us one.
Exactly.
Let's lock this guy down.
Yeah. And if they are trying to get Tom Cruise to be Hal Jordan, just think about how they would bounce off each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So, have we got a tweet on Black Klansman?
@_beef.
Okay.
Yeah, so
fair.
Don't know if that's short for B either. Don't know.
Okay, fair. Maybe it is.
Sat through the credits of Black Klansman in a state of whiplash. Spike Lee pulled the rug so hard from under me in those last 10 minutes I could feel the entire audience sinking to the floor.
The sunken place.
Sunken place. And Jordan Peele was the producer.
True.
Full circle.
Number 2.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you?
2.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to read the tweet first. It's _Abster says, I've seen Mamma Mia 7 times. Yes, I have. Do I want to go again? Yes, I do. So it's her fault. It's Abster's fault that this film is number 2 in the top 5.
Hasn't been number 2 for like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, wow. Look, I understand it. Go see it. Go have a good time. But 7 times.
7 weeks it's been out. I mean, that's only seeing it once a week. Admittedly, it's doable, but you know,
I'm just like buying all the seats to the theatre.
You know, I'm just gonna put it out there though. I have seen Avengers: Infinity War more than 7 times.
Yeah, I think I'm only on 4 now.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It is a film that I just keep rewatching.
Is Mamma Mia 2 as rewatchable?
Yeah, I'm not going to judge people if they like Mamma Mia 2, they keep seeing it that many times. Because I'm just as bad with, you know, the superhero movie.
Yeah, but there's some films that are just more rewatchable. For some films that you can't watch more than once.
Musicals should inherently be more rewatchable than superhero movies, shouldn't they? Because that's an energy.
But this is a jukebox musical.
Yes, that's true.
So with that, if you want to listen to the song, listen to the song.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. You can't get that experience in superhero. Fine.
And because the story is not based on a song or anything, I don't see anything that drags me to it. I like the Godfather 2 element of it. That's fine.
Hey, the Andy Garcia arc is the love story that runs through the centre of this movie.
All right, so fair enough.
There was something in the air that night, Fernando.
Buy me tickets to go watch Fernando when the Fernando spin-off comes out. I'll watch that.
I would watch the hell out of a Fernando spin-off. If it's Andy Garcia...
I watch Andy Garcia in pretty much anything, and I will say about someone that in the last 12 months has watched Geostorm and The Book Club.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, hey, what's wrong with Book Club? I watched that with my mum recently.
Absolutely nothing.
She loved it.
That film is a straight-up delight.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. That was delightful.
It was
literally what we said when we came out of the screening.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to Mamma Mia 2, which is, I think, a better film than the first one. It's not as polished as the first one, but I had an okay time with it. I think fans are going to love it. People who detractors are going to detract. And haters going to hate, lovers going to love.
Abby's going to see it for an 8th time. Probably.
She is. Okay, on which note?
Number 1.
Christopher Robin.
Well, Donald Gleason's, getting those bums on seats is what it is. Donald Gleason? It's not Donald Gleason. Oh my god! I've actually swapped round my Pooh movies.
Yeah, because it was Chris Robin.
Yes.
Goodbye, Christopher Robin.
Do you know what it is? It's because Donald Gleason's been doing the rounds, press rounds at the minute
for The Littlest Stranger.
Yeah, for The Littlest Stranger. Yeah. So in my head,
That's amazing.
Wow. Okay, so Ewan McGregor's getting them bums on seats.
Donald Gleason's in Star Wars. Ewan McGregor's in Star Wars.
They're basically the same dude.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna turn up in Fargo now, isn't he?
Really
Donald
is.
Gleason. If that happens, you owe me a Coke.
I do.
If he's in season 4, Fargo.
I think I've kind of said all I can really on Christopher Robin, which is to say that it is basically the combination of Hook and Paddington.
Yeah.
And that's exactly as enjoyable as you would think it is, exactly as moving as you would think it would be, which is not as much as Paddington, but slightly more than Hook. And good time for all. Do we have a tweet?
Lauren McLean says, I saw Christopher Robin today and cried through the whole dang movie.
Well, okay then. Yeah, that's fair. It's moving. Yeah, that's cool.
She's fully dehydrated. Drink some water.
Well, indeed. Can I tell you now really quickly about a documentary called Under the Wire, which is out this week as well. This is directed by Chris Martin. Not that Chris Martin. The documentary maker.
Father of Apple and Moses.
Yeah, so not Moses and Apple's dad. No, the other Chris Martin, who's, fathered some documentaries. So this is the story.
With not as ridiculous names.
This is the story of Marie Colvin. Do you know her at all? She's the war correspondent who had the eye patch. Did you ever see her?
Yeah.
She was sort of mid-age, American war correspondent. She's going to be played by Rosamund Pike in a movie coming up.
Yes, that's where I know her.
That's where you'll know her from. Right. This is her documentary. This is the story of that coverage that led to her untimely demise. Right. I'll tell you what. I'm just going to tell you. This all comes to us from her photographer and the author of the book upon which the film is based, Paul Conroy. And this is a clip that's going to tell you the tone of where we're going with this.
She was a complete and utter one-off.
One of the greatest war correspondents of her generation.
It's about people.
We're basically in the middle of a firefight.
They phone me up every week on, is everything okay?
We'd covered the Arab Spring. It was in full flight. The city of Homs is the next. We had one option. We decided to go in illegally.
As you do. So, they actually take us through this. So this is, narrated to us in interview segments, and then there are stages that incorporate actual footage that was, captured of the journey along the way, because obviously, they are there to document everything. So there's a lot of coverage. And this will take you through the emotional ringer. This is straight up harrowing, son. This really is. There is a point. There's a point in this movie where in the course of 5 minutes we meet Dr. Mohammed, who is a doctor working in this, it's called a war zone, but Paul Conroy himself says at one point, that's not war at all, that's slaughter that's going on over there. And it's just, a team of soldiers just turning up and with rifles and just gunning down scores of people. And then being brought into this makeshift hospital that has no facilities whatsoever and basically having one man single-handedly trying to save everybody's life. That is Dr. Mohammed. You might know him from YouTube videos in which he implores us to intervene on behalf of the Syrian people. This is, as I say, straight up harrowing. It's a fantastically captured story. The feel of it, the emotion involved, the tension, the danger, the despair, the absolute dread for what could possibly come next. You feel absolutely everything in this. And within minutes, Marie Colvin was clearly one of the greatest badasses who ever lived, and is matched probably only by Paul Conroy, who might be the rawest man you've ever seen. He just sits there and tells you some absolutely mortifying things, and he's aware of it, and he just wants to get this story out there as much as possible. It's worth noting this is the story of what happened after her death as well, and basically how he took the campaign, how he took their work and their coverage over at that point, because as he put it, he owed her. And it's a really moving, really emotional story, but it is a hard watch. It's a hard watch in the best way. Yeah. It's a really, really effective piece, and it's something I actually will watch again.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
Back for one last ride, Mr. Allen. So, what we've got to cover. Should we talk some film news? We've talked none this week.
We can, if there was anything to really talk about.
I've got one, because you just reminded me, because one of our tweeters was named McLean.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to be what that film's called if it ever gets made.
Yeah, that's what Die Hard 6 is going to be. Oh, apparently it is getting made. There's a slot for the filming and everything. It's got a release date, a filming slot. Len Wiseman.
Len not so Wiseman.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Len Wiseman would actually learn to turn things down occasionally, this may actually not happen. But no, because, I'm just putting it out there that the only returning director ever in the Die Hard franchise was John McTiernan, and that was for the best. Len Wiseman is no John McTiernan.
And I don't necessarily hate 4.0.
I don't hate 4.0.
It's all right, but I would rather not.
I just think the script sucks. But
yeah, I don't care about John McTiernan's past. Just get him back. It's okay.
Yeah, that's it. John McTiernan should direct the final Die Hard.
Yeah.
And that final Die Hard, of course, has now been revealed to be called McClane.
Have they said that it is going to be the last one?
Oh, no, I think the idea was they said a while ago that they were making the last one. They have also said, though, that they're making a 6 and 7. So, we'll believe
last one until we see how well this does.
Pretty much, but I just want to point out if they'd gotten Die Hard, the final Die Hard out this year, it would have been the 30th anniversary.
It would have been kind of perfect timing. And you should have got John McTiernan to do it. Who would you cast as young Bruce Willis?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. I wonder where you got a bad idea from.
Where might I have gotten such a revolutionary idea?
Can I give you an idea?
Go on.
Evan Peters.
Oh, okay. Are you naturally segueing this in? Have you just thought of that? Because you know he stars in our final review.
Oh, of course it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you not know that? Did you genuinely not know?
I knew we were going to do that film last, but I'd forgotten.
Okay, yes.
Pretty great.
Pretty great, yes. Okay, so Evan Peters stars in American Animals. It's like we planned it, except we absolutely didn't. So, American Animals is the latest film from writer-director Bart Layton. Do you remember a documentary called The Imposter about 5 years ago? Yes, you know the one. Yeah.
Oh, I love that film. Me and my wife literally quote that film on a monthly basis.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a detective in that film, and he talks about using Adobe Photoshop.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes, I have heard you do that actually. I think.
Yeah. This is the same guy.
This is the same guy, but right, you're gonna love this. I swear, this is gonna blow your mind. So right, you know how he comes from a documentary background?
I do.
Well, how can there be a documentary about Evan Peters and it be about anything other than Evan Peters? So here's what American Animals actually is. American Animals is a hybrid documentary and narrative feature.
Yes.
That uses narrative recreations of events by a cast that includes Evan Peters, Barry Keoghan, and oh my god, who was the lead in...
The guy in Everybody Wants Some.
Blake Jenner?
Yes.
Thank you.
Supergirl's ex-husband.
Supergirl's ex-husband. Yeah. Well, because they were on Glee together, weren't they?
Yes,
the whole thing. And as was the Flash. Anyway, so enough DC nonsense. And Leah Michelle. Oh, Leah, we miss you. Anyway, so back to
you're in a hole. Come back.
I'm back. So what they do is they have these narrative events, and then they will cut back to the documentary element of it to confirm what has just happened actually happened, and then set up the next bit. So it's one of those Gus Van Santy kind of a looking film. It's got a true story that feels like it was written by Bret Easton Ellis. And that's being diplomatic about it. And it's sort of immediately post-millennium, kind of the time that Drowning Pool were a thing, actually, coincidentally enough.
We've got to play bodies like that.
We've got to, yeah. It's set around then, and it is about two young men who decide to stage a heist, to basically for the chance to have an interesting experience actually happen in their lives. They think that in order for them to actually advance in life, they need that coming-of-age experience that will change their life forever. Unfortunately, when you have a heist, you also need a fence. Here's a clip of them trying to find exactly that.
So, what do you say? He wasn't the buyer, but he gave us a contact. The fence. So that guy wasn't the fence. I thought you said he was the fence. I guess not. We spent $500 on an email address. All you have to do is contact this guy. And he says he speaks English. What? Let's go get some food. Come on, I'm freezing.
Why wouldn't he speak English, Warren?
So Barry Keoghan, is it Keoghan?
Yeah, I've been saying Keoghan.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan and Evan Peters are terrific in this, as is Blake Jenner. Those three really great performances. What sets this on such solid footing is really, really sharp writing, and it is writing that allows the film to make sort of a weird comedy out of the juxtaposition between the narrative feature and the documentary features. Things like differing accounts become plot points. They become part of how you are taking this tale in, and what did happen, what didn't happen, what was embellished, what was so funny and absolutely had to be true. This effectively winds up as what you kind of hoped War Dogs would be. I mean, I'm a big fan of War Dogs, but if they'd done this with War Dogs, wow. And this is a movie that's every bit as great as War Dogs could have been. It has that feel of a Gus Van Sant adaptation of a Bret Easton Ellis film, except it's all true. The writing is sharp and funny, and it makes it's layered in such a way as to make the boys themselves, unflinchingly sort of likeable and investable. And even though they're doing horrible things, you go along for that ride and you want them to succeed. I mean, the film kind of bookends itself in the documentary sense with kind of where this is going to end up, because documentaries kind of tend to do. But it's really great. Some great visuals in there. It has that, almost like an American Psycho kind of a presence, where it's not the greatest film ever made, but it's damn good, and it's one that you will remember, and it's one that you will have on your DVD shelf and revisit, once a year or something like that. It's really something. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
I really want to watch it. Sorry, I had no idea that it was the guy that did The Imposter.
No, I didn't.
Which is amazing. Yeah. He's actually he's on the shortlist to direct James Bond.
Is he?
As well, yeah. So that's some additional news.
Now that I would be intrigued to see, because aren't they're floating Jan de Mange around here, aren't they?
Yeah, which I'm still down with because I like Jan de Mange.
Fair enough.
But, who else? The lady that is supposed to be doing the next Star Trek as well.
Oh, S.J. Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from like Spooks and things, I think, isn't she? She's a British TV director.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to give American Animals Film of the Week.
Hey!
And yeah, it absolutely deserves Film of the Week. I think it's just terrific. I can't wait to watch it again. Like,
cool.
Genuinely.
I will be watching it this weekend after I have... what we're doing this weekend?
You're doing a big wedding.
I'm doing a gig. Yeah, I'm gigging a wedding. So after I do that, huge. Yeah.
But when you've seen American Animals, please text me straight after. I want to hear you go. I want to hear your mind blow over this. I thought it was great.
Yes.
And
I
really
am excited to watch it.
You should be. So next week, what have we got next week?
Stuff.
Oh well, I mean, I'm not hearing great things about this one, but King of Thieves is out next week.
It's really funny. I had no idea what the film was about. I was just going to go watch it because it's a bunch of old men robbing a bank.
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, "Do you not know about Hatton Gardens?" I was like, "No, I'm from Sheffield. I don't."
National news for a couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I must have just been asleep for a few days.
That's fine. We also have the remake of Superfly next week.
Is that really next week?
That's really next week. That's out. Reinventing Marvin is next week. Michael Inside is next week. The Rider is next week. Matang Maya MIA next week. Lucky, the final appearance of Harry Dean Stanton next week as well.
Yeah, that trailer looks great.
Yeah, it does as well. And that's very sad that that's his final film. I really love Harry Dean Stanton.
But he's the lead in it, so it's kind of a good...
Yeah, it's nice for him to go out in a big role, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And last but certainly by no means least, one of my favourite filmmakers of all time is back in the game. Shane Black's here, baby. The Predator's up. Predator's up.
Have you seen that new Predator trailer?
I have.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm in. And how good does This Is Us actor?
Sterling K. Brown.
How good?
Amazing.
That looks like a really fun, very Shane Black part, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When he talks about the name.
Take it back. He can be Jon Stewart.
So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. This has been a Candy Store production of the Movie Marker. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Kate Allen.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more movie news, reviews, and more, visit moviemarker.co.uk.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Right, belts off, trousers down, time for the podcast extras, Mr. Allen.
I'm scared.
Well, should we start with some film news then before we get to the first of 3 reviews we've not been able to cover?
Yes, give me news, give me sweet little news.
So this is apparently Rebecca Ferguson's in talks to join Dune. So that's interesting, because Denis Villeneuve, Rebecca Ferguson, that's a good pairing.
They've not worked together before, have they?
I don't think they have, but it's a good pair. I could see that working. I could
totally see that.
Fitting the aesthetic of a Denis Villeneuve movie.
I wonder if she's going to do an opera singing like she didn't do in the British show.
Yes, indeed. Are you into that thing you didn't do in the other movie?
Yeah, God.
She's the thing, because didn't she appear in Opera House in Mission Impossible as well? So she likes opera, but she can't be bothered to do it.
Yeah, but she's not an opera singer, but she respects it as a medium.
What is this? Is Glenn Powell attached to a Captain Planet movie? Because
what
did you not know this?
No, what is it? Is this for Leonardo DiCaprio one?
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio always wanted to produce a Captain Planet movie.
Yeah.
Well, this is right.
No, save him for an MCU film.
Well, this is even more bizarre. Okay, so he's not playing Captain Planet, although he'd be a really, really good Captain Planet.
He'd be great. Yeah.
He'd be great, wouldn't he? No, he's co-writing it. Yeah, Glenn Powell is co-writing Captain Planet. So, for the love of God, someone cast Glenn Powell as Captain Planet.
Yeah, cast himself in that film.
I mean, you need, like...
He'd be great.
I'm just putting it out there as well. Tandy Newton for Gaia. Because
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you must like recast a role that so clearly was, Whoopi Goldberg, get Tandy Newton. She's got that Mother Earth quality to her that she could play that so well. Look at her in Westworld.
Yeah.
You look at how she plays that in Westworld.
Perfect,
yeah, she could play Gaia like that.
Yeah. Have you watched that Glenn Powell Netflix comedy about Set It Up?
No, I have not. Is that his?
Well, he's in it. He's the male lead. It's really worth checking out, actually. It's pretty decent.
I didn't know that at all. I will watch that now.
Yeah.
I've not watched...
Definitely recommend it.
What's the offensive one? Insatiable?
Yeah, I've not watched that either. I watched To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
I hear that's the greatest rom-com of all time.
It's not.
Is it not?
I like it, but people seem to have lost their minds over it.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, it's not going to live up to Crazy Rich Asians for me. Spoiler for next week. But, yeah, this is the other one. Timothy Dalton's going to be a DC villain.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, only for telly, though. So.
But he's going to be the chief.
Yeah.
Which is
great.
There's that,
isn't there? That's going to be great.
And Two Dicks as being the bad guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk. Oh, okay. So the villain of a series about villains.
Two Dicks, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's talk then really quickly about Seagull, which is a new film from Michael Mayer, who made, do you remember, A Home at the End of the World? With Colin Farrell. It was about 15 years ago now. It was...
Vaguely, yeah.
It was one of Colin Farrell's first sort of indie projects after he'd sort of, had his prolonged shot at Hollywood. There was like 4 or 5 big movies.
I am Alexander the Great, I am.
Yeah. I know I'm older than the chick playing my mum, but it doesn't matter. God, that movie. What was Oliver Stone thinking? Nothing about that worked.
He was Oliver Stoned.
Yeah, he clearly was. Okay, so The Seagull, which is an adaptation of the story by Anton Chekhov, of the Chekhov play, which is restaged here in a more contemporary English language tone. It has an all-star cast. It includes Annette Bening. It includes Corey Stoll. It includes Saoirse Ronan. Brian Dennehy, of all people, is in this.
Mad.
Yeah, like, how do you randomly come up with Brian Dennehy? Someone's like, we need someone to play Brian Dennehy, clearly. Yeah. So this is about an aging actress and her boyfriend who... the aging actress is played by Annette Bening. The slightly younger boyfriend is played by Corey Stoll. They go to visit her elderly brother's estate. He is Brian Dennehy. This is set in sort of the early 20th century when there is something of a media in the world, for instance. There is fame and there is fortune, for instance. And it is effectively just a chamber piece drama. I mean, it's a Chekhov play, so it's largely a chamber piece drama, but it is staged still as a play, but without the stage. It is in the actual settings, but it's performed as if it's a play. It is staged and blocked exactly in that way.
I'm just looking at some of the pictures from it. It does look like that.
It does indeed look like. Here's a clip.
What does it feel like to be famous?
What does it feel like? Feels like not being famous, probably. I never think about it.
Well, what about when you read about yourself in the newspapers? What does that feel like?
Well, when they're flattering notices, I like it. And when they're nasty, I'm depressed for a day or two.
If I were great like you, I'd dedicate my whole life to my public. I'd let them pull my chariot through the streets. Because I'd know that they're reaching up to me. That's what makes them happy.
And in a chariot, no less.
So this is just absolutely gorgeously shot. Being a Chekhov play, at first there is an adjustment period with this, and Chekhov is one of those things that I think you need to be mentally prepared for going in. And the script has been done quite well. I'm trying to remember the name of the writer who has adapted this. You've got a very game cast who are early on quite visibly, and I would imagine this has been shot in continuity order. It's been shot chronologically. It has that feel to it because the cast themselves start out having this ball. They're doing proper acting. This is a proper picture based on a Chekhov play. And the thing is that the film itself and the adaptation of it noticeably loosens up as the film goes on. And what's happened is you become so invested in trying to keep up with, what's an almost Sorkin level of back and forth, that by the time it does loosen up, and by the time it does allow those characters to breathe as well, and the drama to flourish, the character drama to really flourish out into something, by that point, what's happened is effectively the wax-on, wax-off trick from Karate Kid, where, oh my god, you've been teaching me Kung Fu this whole time. I didn't realise, except in this case, oh my god, you made me care about all of these characters without me even realising you were doing it. Solid work, Michael Mayer, solid work. Like I say, I mean, the stiffness, it takes a bit to get used to, but once you do, what you wind up with is this second realisation that actually this entire cast, like you just said, it's a hell of a cast. And once they're given that time to flourish, you realise that they've actually been playing to type this whole time in a manner so brazen you've not seen it since the Meg. Everybody is there to play their stock type, but the film is structured in such a way that it kind of masks that from you until that wax on, wax off moment, and it does pick up that stride as it goes. It has that wonderful production design. There's a great sense of the space, great sense of the location of the ground. Matthew Lloyd, who was the cinematographer on this, was also cinematographer on first season of Daredevil and Power Rangers movie a couple of years ago as well, which did have a good look to it. Very coaxing visuals here, another fine job. I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to in the slightest, and for the first half of the movie I didn't think I was gonna. But I really, really liked it. So that's the Seagull, check that out. But back to film news, I guess, isn't it?
Yes.
So
what do we have?
What do we have?
What do we have? There's nothing's happened. Let's make something up.
It's been a surprisingly quiet week in a strange way, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
There was something I wanted to ask you about, and that's House of Cards have confirmed how they're dealing with Kevin Spacey.
He's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. No bones about it. No bones about it. Do you not remember, though, when they said they were going to make another series? My thing was, but when we ended the last series, he was in a prison cell. The next series is going to have what? They just cut back and he's he's hung himself and it's a body double.
Yeah.
And it looks like something like that.
And the body double is
Crystal Plummer.
There we go.
Just Crystal Plummer swinging from the rafters of this White House prison cell.
And that's how he wins an Emmy.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what happens.
One for Best Corpse.
And he'll get that nomination for anyone seen the episode. And of course, that's exactly what will happen. If we sound
it'll take 9 minutes to shoot.
And of course, some people get paid for it, some people won't, and never
that's just what happens.
Yeah. But they've been really brazen about it. Literally, here's a trailer with the gravestone of Kevin Spacey.
I've not even seen the trailer yet. I've just heard he's dead.
He's just dead. They've not actually said how he died, I don't think. Did he get
Frank Underwood will be playing a part of Kevin Spacey's career. Dead.
Well, I don't know, because that's been something interesting in the news this last week, because this question about when is it and is it not all right to return to showbiz.
Robin Wright was talking about it.
Yes.
Wasn't she? Yeah.
About
when is it okay? And Louis C.K. did a stand-up set recently.
And people were not happy about that.
No.
People were definitely not happy about Louis' return. So I think the fact that he included a rape whistle joke apparently didn't go down well.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Wow.
Just feel the room. I mean, not literally feel the room, because you might get in trouble for that, but get a sense of your audience.
Genuine question, right?
Yeah.
You tell me, do you or do you not think it would have been better, do you think it would be better or worse if Louis C.K. had gone on stage in the same manner he didn't tell anyone, and his entire set had actually been about him and what he did? If he had somehow managed to turn that into...
It's probably received a little bit better, because facing it head on. He doesn't mention it at all, does he?
No, he doesn't, which is, I think, for me, that's part of the problem. Yeah. But, I mean, I'm not saying he should go and crack jokes about it. I'm saying, there's no acknowledgement of it.
No.
And that's...
Yes, he was up front when he acknowledged it to begin with. So maybe that's why he didn't do anything during his stand-up set.
Yeah,
I have addressed it. And he had.
Well, he's just taken his punishment. He's gone back to his New York penthouse and and sat there, and he's had time to put away all those boxes, those unopened boxes of "I Love You, Daddy" DVDs, and
I forgot that was even a thing that existed in the planet.
You know what? Never forget. They did send out award screeners for that film.
Yes, they did, yeah.
They really did. Oh, here's what you love, by the way. This is a bit personal news. I am now on a list that grants me award screeners every year.
Oh, that's exciting. So what, Oscar nights are yours?
Yeah, so come the Oscars, we're just going to have a stack of this to get through.
Like, great, let's watch A Star Is Born again.
Yeah, so we'll probably be able to watch Star Is Born on
Have you seen the first reviews for that?
Some of them are great, some of them are really, really bad.
Really? I've seen nothing but, like, crazy glowing ones.
I say some of them. One in particular is a guy I know, Kevin Mayer for the Times. He went
Kevin Formayer.
Yeah, he went to Venice and reviewed, and he hated everything he saw at Venice, which was like Suspiria, and he just hated everything. Came back, he's like, it was rubbish. Everything was rubbish.
Did he just have like really bad jet lag and was just really grumpy?
I don't know. When did I see him? I saw him for the Miseducation Cameron Post. So yeah, but yeah, people are loving Star Is Born. And did you see this thing at the press conference? Her nameplate read El Gaga.
Oh, did it?
He's B. Cooper, she's El Gaga, and you're like, what? Okay, of the Connecticut Gagas, like the New Jersey Gagas, what?
Yeah, Leslie Gaga.
I mean, like, when Madonna went to like Cannes, was she M Donna? Like, is that how this works?
That's what it says on her driver's license.
What does Will I Am get? W-Am?
W-Am. Oh, Mr. Am.
Yo, William, what's up?
I want to know what it says on Morrissey's driving licence. I always wondered what it would say, or on his passport.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, because obviously Stephen Patrick Morrissey is his name, but that's not how he goes. So does it just say like Moz?
No, I think it will say his actual name because, for instance, Bruce Willis, for legal purposes, is Walter Bruce Willis.
Walter Bruce Willis, yeah.
Yeah, so like his marriages and divorces.
Not Bruno.
No, not Bruno. No, Bruno does not appear in his name. He made that up, would you believe?
They are two different people. In the 80s, they were two people. Two distinct people.
They were indeed, yes. And apparently he went away and came back because we got the return of Bruno.
Yeah, we did.
So, which...
I can't wait for, like, Bruno Forever.
The world's greatest cover of On
Bruno
the
Lives.
Boardwalk.
It's so good. They do a cover of Secret Agent Man as well.
He does, doesn't he?
Awful. It's so bad.
Can I talk about something else that's really, really bad and involves a musician?
We're not calling Bruce Willis a musician.
No. Well, someone who has acted and been a musician. How about that? We'll go with that. Iggy Pop, specifically.
I love Iggy Pop.
Yeah, well, you won't love him.
You know his full name is
Igwood Pop.
Ignatius Poppadom.
Is it?
No. I stole that from a joke on Twitter that I saw.
That's quite good, though. It does sound like a Buzzcocks joke.
He doesn't.
Does it? It sounds like a Phil Jupiter's gag.
Yeah.
But right, so this documentary maker, Boris Mitic, is behind this. It's called In Praise of Nothing.
Well, that's a foreshadow, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a foreshadow. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I'm just going to play you this clip and tell you that over this clip, right, just close your eyes and imagine, you know the Apple TV screensaver in my house, the one that's got the cityscapes and the nice Hawaiian jungle and all that stuff. Right, just imagine you're watching that screensaver as you hear this.
But who am I to say I or we? Am I really nothing? Or just my ego's mercenary? They say I can only be hinted at and never shown, unlike any other thing currently unknown. But I am actually there in every shot, if you bother to find me.
That goes on for an hour and a half. Yeah. Right, so literally it is the Apple TV screensaver with what sounds like faux Leonard Cohen lyrics being read as poetry, only they're actually closer to the insane ramblings of Gary Busey than anything else.
Would you say we did 90 boobless minutes?
Yeah, 90 boobless minutes. Now, the actual explanation for this film is supposedly this is part of an initiative between cinematographers around the world who've all come together and contributed different visuals to this. And yeah, very pretty. Lovely to look at. But, just to put this in context for you. So the first 5 minutes of this film, right, play like watching the Apple TV screensaver with nothing but the saxophone riff from Lethal Weapon being played ad nauseum for 5 minutes, right? Then it switches up and it starts up with the Iggy Pop, faux Leonard Cohen, ramblings of Gary Busey lyric poetry thing. And they play that over what looks like footage from exotic beer ads. Like, I keep expecting Cobra beer to be brought up on screen at any point. And it really does a lot of that. And it just keeps switching between these different sort of setups of just randomised visuals. There doesn't seem to be much coherence to it. Whilst we listen to Iggy Pop prop, and he's rambling. Now, by all accounts, this is intended to be the story of nothing, as if nothing is a tangible concept. Right? Nothing has come to Earth for a weekend. And this is his experience of the human, his or their condition, experience of the human condition. It's bonkers that this actually exists. I mean, props for the fact that it actually exists, because I want to meet the guy that pitched this. But I had no earthly idea what the hell was going on at any given time. I mean, I literally wrote that as I sat down watching it, the first 15 minutes. I have no earthly idea what the hell is going on. And by the end of it, I was still at, what the hell is this? In fact, the one thing it reminded me of, and we don't use this clip often enough.
What the hell is this? For crying out loud, somebody throw a pie!
That's what I thought of it.
It is exactly that.
Yeah.
It's a great clip. It never fails us, that clip, does it? No, this is, I would say, not something I think anyone's going to particularly draw much from. I'm sorry, it just wasn't for me. It just did nothing for me. It looked pretty sure, but, I can't really just be sat, made to sit and look at things that look pretty for 90 minutes. That's... You know what I mean? Like, Terrence Malick tries that all the time, and it doesn't work. And he actually provides narratives.
Sometimes, but crazy canted angles.
Yeah, sometimes he does it slightly diagonally.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know why you're looking at Michael Fassbender like that.
No, I don't either. So, back to some film news. Avengers is reshooting. You hear this?
Hey, is it? That makes sense.
Yeah, have a guess what they're adding to it.
Captain Marvel.
More Wakanda. Because,
nobody, popular.
Yeah, nobody knew that was going to be popular, it seems.
Yeah.
More...
Don't edit this out.
No, I'm just leaving that in. There's me dropping my phone.
Van dropped his phone. I laughed. Is it okay?
It's perfectly fine. My phone is encased in carbonite.
It's going full Han Solo.
Do you remember that Hitman film with what's it called? Better Call Saul guy. You know who I mean? Bob Odenkirk was going to do that action film that he was co-writing. Do you remember this? He was writing an action thriller. A couple of years ago. I think it was called Nobody or Mr. Nobody. I'm literally pulling up the page now because for some reason your wife hates my phone. And, cheer my lovely case. Never mind. But these things are fine. It's fine.
No one ever says that to me.
Right, so the action... Right, it's an STX movie called Nobody. Right, this is... If you remember, we ran this news. It cast Bob Odenkirk, and the idea was he was an everyday man. He was going to step in to defend some young woman who's been harassed by thugs, and he hospitalizes the brother of a drug kingpin, and then it's like a John Wick with an everyman, and it's Bob Odenkirk doing it. Now I'm sure he was actually involved somewhere behind the scenes. I think he's producing or co-writing or something like that. But John Wick writer Derek Kolstad is written it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you kind of know what you're going to get. It's got both the John Wick dudes, Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, are going to produce it as well.
That's cool.
So this is it's already sounding good. And now, Ilya Nushala, who is the director of Hardcore Henry, is going to direct it.
Hey! Yeah, I still haven't seen that. It went on Netflix recently.
Do you know what?
So I might actually watch it at some point.
How is it not bigger, like Hardcore Henry? I've been thinking about it.
Did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
I actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, it is...
I wish I'd have seen it on the big screen.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's
a video game.
Yeah, cinema screen is the best place to have seen it, because you would never see anything like that otherwise, other than those 2 minutes of doom. But
I love those 2 minutes of doom.
Yeah, it's that as a movie, But although it's a movie with all the sort of ambition of Crank. So
Crank is very ambitious.
He
was dead, but he got better.
He got so ambitious they literally did a Godzilla parody with a rubber-headed Jason Statham.
It's incredible. Because what else do you do? That's probably why we've not done a third one.
Well, apparently they were going to at one point. They wanted to do it with Idris Elba at one point. But I remember that being banded around a few years.
What, in the lead?
They wanted Idris Elba to lead Crank 3.
Instead of Stave?
Well, yeah, I don't know if the intention was they were going to leave him dead or something, but they did. It was after that second Ghost Rider movie that they did. The Crank guys made that second Ghost Rider.
And then Idris Elba's in
there.
Yeah.
And they started up talk of they wanted to do a third Crank. Or, no, you can't put the 3 in place of the A, can you? Kruthrink?
Kruthrink. Yeah.
But, they wanted to do it with Idris Elba anyway, which is not the worst idea in the world, but...
Hashtag not my Bond, hashtag not my Stephen.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Indeed, so.
He'd be alright as Bond. He'd be really good as Bond, in fact.
Shall we take this... should we take this to final penalties?
Is that football terminology?
That is apparently terminology of the football.
Of the football.
But apparently is how they talk about the football.
Foosball.
The foosball. Right, we've saved this one for last, and brace yourself, mate, because we're going to have a good one now.
I am so ready for this film.
Okay, right. Do you remember an action film from 2009? It was a sort of straight to VOD kind of release, but it starred Robert Carlyle, and it was called The Tournament. Did you ever see it?
No.
Right, it was one of those Contest of Champions type things. It was like set in Britain. It was a really nasty, violent, like The Raid level film. Nasty, violent action where a bunch of hitmen took part in what's apparently like an annual game or something, where last man standing wins the $10 million prize or whatever, and it's hitmen going to war with one another, and like one's a priest who kills with holy beads, and the other one's like a ninja, and Robert Carlyle...
That sounds rad.
Yeah, exactly. Robert Carlyle's like a lorry driver who just accidentally wanders into this game. It's insane. It's set in Britain. That year's competition takes place in Britain, so the film is set in Britain. Really good, worth seeing. Okay, like just a fun, nasty little action. Right, so the guy who made that, Scott Mann, has now tried to make Die Hard at West Ham, because I don't know if you know this, West Ham Stadium needed to get demolished recently.
Didn't know that.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't at all.
Oh, well, they needed to demolish the stadium.
To build a new stadium.
So,
and so they were like, let's make a film.
That's literally how this works.
So does... I don't care if you're spoiling it for everyone, me included.
Oh no, the trailer has done this!
So the stadium explodes at one point.
No, this is the weird thing, the stadium does explode, but with a weird amount of CGI.
Just explode it naturally.
Despite the fact that you've got an actual stadium to blow up.
Yeah, just film that.
Film that, yeah. But anyway, sorry to ruin the movie. So it's Die Hard at West Ham, and in the way that, the building isn't destroyed in Die Hard for anything, but there are obviously massive explosions going on. Same exact crack. So the idea here is... you get the exposition from Crimson Tide, right? You know that bit at the beginning of Crimson Tide where you get CNN reporters telling you the news events for like 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that here with the nation-state of Sokovia. Do you remember Sokovia?
From Avengers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A made-up country for the Marvel-verse.
And it's genuinely in this film?
And it's genuinely in this film. The villains of this film are Sokovians.
But that's not a country.
It's not a country. I know. But doesn't the DC universe has one as well? Corto Maltese. Is it Corto Maltese?
Corto Maltese. What is that from?
They go to it in like Arrow and The Flash and places like that.
Yeah, that's
all
where
the
I know
DC
it,
stuff.
yeah.
They have like a fictionalized. They have a fictionally named country that they like to go to,
and it's like based on a country.
Yeah. I mean, Sokovia in the Marvelverse. But anyway, right. So, Sokovian terrorists, in pursuit of their deposed former leader, played by Pierce Brosnan, decide to take West Ham Stadium. It's ridiculous to even say this out loud. I'm so sorry. They take West Ham Stadium hostage. Right? They put it into lockdown, they take the control room, and they start about computer scanning the crowd to look for this former warlord who has been granted amnesty by the UK government and allowed to sort of hide in Britain.
Hide in football stadiums.
Hide in football stadiums because he's a big West Ham fan. Right, that's the thing. He's a big West Ham fan.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
So, and he's played by Pierce Brosnan with a Russian accent and a beard. Let's get that out of the way first and foremost, right? And the whole thing is that if they get Pierce Brosnan back, and they use him as a puppet, and he's like he's the face of their evil agenda. Well, there's literally a pandemic-style computer simulation that shows you, and this is an exact quote, projected civil unrest through Europe. Like it's a plague. Like it's a virus. It moves in like 36 hours. We get shown this. Anyway, as all this is going on, Uncle Mike enters the country. Uncle Mike is Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista is a Navy SEAL. Because why wouldn't he be, right? We know this because he's wearing that outfit that all Navy SEAL characters in movies wear when they're going on like a family holiday. You know that one with
baseball cap,
the 3-button T-shirt that they all have, and like the leather jacket, and the backpack, and the baseball, all that stuff. Yeah. You know the flannel shirt open underneath, that kind of thing. You know the one. Yeah. So Uncle Mike is going to visit. Uncle Mike. Sorry, Uncle Mike has problems. Uncle Mike, you see, he's had that problem. We've all been there. The failed mission, haunted survivor guilt thing. He's got that right. Now this mission, he seems to act like it happened the week before the film. Okay, so he's struggling with it as if it's just happened.
Years previous.
Now, it seems to be years previous because he seems to travel to the UK all the time, and then he goes to visit his brother's family. They're told it's not his brother; it's his colleague from the Navy SEALs. It's his fellow SEAL
who died and then
died on the mission. Yeah.
And was like, look after my family.
This is all the first 10 minutes, by the way. This is all the first 10 minutes.
But that's what you need to do for this kind of action film. Get all that stuff out of the way. Get out of the way.
They don't.
Let me have a film.
They carry on. They absolutely carry on. So the first 10 minutes, all this is happening. Uncle Mike goes to because his brother, you see, owned a pub. I don't know how he was running this pub whilst he was off being a Navy SEAL.
He has people to run it for him.
But yeah, so he married Ruby from Cutting It, so Lucy Gaskell, and they have a teenage daughter who's one of those Kim Bauer, Katherine Heigl teenage daughters.
Right.
So the teenage niece is a real Kim Bauer type, right? And she really likes West Ham. There's this great product placement moment when he pulls out the tickets and says, "We're going to see the soccer." You know, it's football, Uncle Mike. And it's one of those movies. So they go to the stadium, and because she's a Kim Bauer type, she does that Kim Bauer thing where she's quite seemingly intelligent to talk to, but she keeps wandering off like an idiot and walking into the line of fire every 2 minutes. Like, if there is an accident due to happen in this stadium, odds are our Kim Bauer niece is going to walk in front of me. But I'll tell you what, so he's there, Die Hard happens, what do you think he does? Here's a clip.
What is it?
That's C4.
C4? What, you mean like highly explosive C4?
Yeah, that's the one.
What if it goes off? What the...
Not without a detonator, it's not. Stop worrying.
Stop worrying. I'm covered in blood, tracking the siege and carrying explosives, but don't worry about it.
Faisal, can you get me to a working phone?
Yeah, I think so.
Take me.
This way.
Is that Daniel Mays?
No, it is not Daniel Mays. It sounds a lot like Daniel Mays, though, doesn't it? The Empire everywhere. But no, so that is Amit Shah. Amit Shah plays Faisal. Faisal is a steward at West Ham. And when we first meet him, he's having an argument with an old lady, an argument that ultimately amounts to a racial slur used against him, and the joke is, just, that's what white people do. White people are racist. And the movie uses Amit Shah entirely for this function.
Right. I thought he was going to be like the Argyle.
Right, that's what they want to do with him, right, and that feeds into a larger problem with the film. Amit Shah is there literally for racially based humour, and this builds and builds to a concluding gag, like a snowball effect gag, that I swear if I told you the details of it, you would not believe me. It is insane. This is a movie by Saban, by the way, who make, Power Rangers and stuff. So a couple of things. So Dave Bautista blends in at West Ham exactly as you expect he would in reality.
Like Dave Bautista.
There's just like, there's fat dudes in football shirts and tracky bottoms. Yeah. And then there's like a 9-foot Dave Bautista walking amongst them, They hold Brosnan back until the last half hour, which it turns out might be for the best, because I'm going to tell you this now, the press show for this, there is a moment involving Pierce Brosnan in which he has to give his only real sort of character monologue, when I was a boy, worst accent you've ever heard. When I was a boy, my father take me to a woodshed. That stupid kind of a cliched put on. Yeah.
Presumably Gary Oldman was way too much money for this.
That's the thing, though. When you break this plot down, it is Gary Oldman's plot from Air Force One.
Yeah.
We want our deposed leader back so we can take over Europe. That is the exact plot of Air Force One. But that's the other thing, though. Like we said, he's going to be Argyle. This film wants to be Die Hard really, really badly. And it puts in all the plot mechanics of Die Hard. So there's literally a point, for instance, when you can just adopt your own Alan Rickman voice and say, "Where are my detonators?" Stuff like that. There's a Carl, there's this character, there's that bit happens, and there's an Al Powell, who in this case is played by 85 from Alien 3. Ray... Oh. What's his name? Ray... Oh, man. Not Wise. Ralph Brown. Ralph Brown, isn't it? Ray. Ralph Brown, for 85 from Alien 3. Is
because there is a Ray in this.
Yes, indeed. There is a Ray Stevens, and there's a Punisher in this.
Yeah.
And so Punisher and Drax and James Bond are all in this.
Gotta go watch West Ham.
Right. The thing is, it wants to be Die Hard. It feels a lot more like Sudden Death. Which one is it? The 1996 Jean-Claude Van Damme actioner, best described as Die Hard in a hockey stadium. Not only does this wind up accidentally feeling like Sudden Death, it even, in its attempts to be unique and its own thing and stray from the Die Hard template, winds up accidentally replicating entire chunks of sudden death. So, there's a kitchen fight, which, by the way, involves the best use of a deep fat fryer since Lisa Faulkner took a facial, if you remember that episode of Spooks. Yeah. But, yeah, it doesn't quite work. It's got all this American sort of jingoism to it, which, when applied to football, is silly anyway, because hip-hop tracks and flashy Pepsi Max style imagery don't work with
That's not what you want.
football.
You should be playing like Kasabian.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But then there's this sort of sense of Euro sass that they're putting in there with the villains, and it's got that requisite token hot girl terrorist that they all have. Like, what do they call it? Token hot girl terrorist.
Is she on a bike at some point?
She is on a bike at some point. She's got that dreadlock look that they all have.
Yeah.
You know that one? Because that's what they send from the hot girl token terrorist agency
from the warehouse
from the service. What you call you call the girl at the service and she sends you token hot girl terrorist.
Hot girl terrorist direct.
Actually, though, Ray Stevenson he had a voucher code, right? So he got hot girl token terrorist kink edition, and they just dropped this in like halfway through for no reason. That she likes to bite lips and she's a bit choky,
bit choky.
She's kink edition. Wears a lot of leather, does like a bike. There is an indoor bike chase, Mr. Yeah, that thing how stadiums have that outer ring when you go again.
That's amazing.
Get this. You know how they all have that pop song that they like to use at any point in any one of these sort of cheesy action films. The one for this one, Two Tribes by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. The movie not only opens it then reprises it for a chase sequence, and you can't stop laughing. So much of this is a movie that you just laugh at. It's really poorly written. Sample dialogue for you. Why did Dad have to do it? Do what? Die. Actual dialogue from this film. I swear to God. And oh my God, it's so bad. It goes on entirely too long. It's like an hour and 50 minutes, and by the end of it, you're thinking this went on an entire half hour too long to be funny anymore. Yeah. And Ray Stevenson has this weird habit of monologuing with his back to the camera, and you sit thinking, Jesus, is anyone directing this at all? The guy doing the lighting is clearly half asleep, so much so that at one point, Token Hot Girl Terrorist Kink Edition is revealed, despite the fact that she's not been wearing a hat or anything during this movie. She's revealed that she's a ginger. That technically counts as a plot twist. I'm just saying. She's been on screen the entire time.
You think she's blonde and suddenly
No, you think she's got black hair.
Oh.
Yes, the lighting is so bad that the first time you see her under an actual light, you're like, oh, she's a ginger. Oh, and we're 3/4 of the way through this. I mean, really. But yeah, so that counts as a plot twist. On the stupid fun level, this is sure as hell no Geostorm. It is pretty much the exact fun level of Sudden Death, with a little bit of Under Siege 2 in there, because, they do get Racist Faisal to be the Morris Chestnut in this one. And it's really bad. You know that bit in Die Hard, how he keeps slating California when he arrives? Like, California. Dave Bautista literally does the same. Soccer man. And yeah, there's a lot of that in. There's a lot of like Americans calling it soccer and being told, nah, it's football, mate. But, another thing I'll say about this, by the way, Pierce Brosnan, a man who starred in IT, has never been so visibly bored. When he delivers that when I was a boy in Alaska, my father took me to woodshed kind of speech, one-eyed fox, all that kind of stuff. The entire press show genuinely just devolved into just barrel-chested, hysterical laughter, just across the board. Amazing. In that one moment. Like, we will put up the rest of the film, but in that one moment, no. Incidentally, same screen I saw London Has Fallen in. Way better action.
It's a terrible screen.
But, it's really, really bad. But you can mock it. You can sit there and just be like, oh my God, that's so stupid. You can sit there and note down all the action stuff, and you will have engaging enough time doing that you can chalk this up as like a 2-star movie. It's not like a complete write-off. There's stuff you can enjoy, mocking and things like that.
Yeah, I'll watch Drax in pretty much anything.
That's what I mean. So, this is in cinemas on Friday. It's also on Sky Cinema and Now TV the same day.
Don't go outside, basically.
So if you're a Sky customer, you don't even need to get dressed. Just watch this in your pants. I kind of wish I did. Yeah. But... well, had really nice underwear on that day. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so obviously that was never going to be film of the week, was it?
No.
I really wanted to. I was actually really pumped.
Let's give it to him.
I was really pumped going, yes, I really want Die Hard at West Ham with Dave Bautista. But no, instead we get sudden death at West Ham. With
Dave Bautista.
With Dave Bautista, which is so much less thrilling than you'd hope. But anyway, I've got no other film news.
I've got nothing.
I've got nothing. Oh, Alec Baldwin dropped out of that Joker thing, didn't he? That was a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we said he was going to be dad, and he's not dad. So get someone else. Probably get Donald Trump at this point.
Didn't he act?
Why not?
Wasn't Alec Baldwin's actual quote, there were like 26 guys who could play that?
Yeah.
Which, that's...
So, get one of those. Apparently, Viggo Mortensen turned it down before we went to Alec Baldwin as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, Viggo Mortensen would be good in that part.
Yeah.
But, in a good Batman movie.
Yeah. I think just go down the list of Baldwins. You got a whole heap of
Billy Baldwin.
Yeah, because he's obviously next. He's your Liam Hemsworth.
God, really?
Yeah. Why not?
Oh, I'll tell you what, by the way, I watched Jack Ryan this last week.
Oh yeah, how is that?
I really dug it. I mean, I'm a 24 whore anyway.
What, have you watched the whole thing?
I've watched the whole thing. It's only 8 episodes. But apparently we're going to get like one a year kind of thing. It's going to be new big name cast members joining John Krasinski and Wendell Pierce every year.
That'd be cool.
And the next,
it was nice to see Wendell Pierce in there.
Do you know what, they've sort of reinvented that character. I call him the Morgan Freeman character, even though it was who's Darth Vader before then. How have I forgotten the name of the
James
voice?
Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones. How did I forget the name of James Earl Jones?
The staffer.
My God. Okay, so James Earl Jones obviously was the first one I think on screens, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I think, but that's as far back as I remember the character. But I tend to refer to him as the Morgan Freeman character. But I like what they've done with that. Interesting sort of redynamic. They've made him Muslim as well. He's a practicing Muslim, which is an interesting sort of dynamic to add to it. And he's much more of a hard ass than he's ever been depicted before as well. He's a lot more badass leader. There's something kind of weirdly Sterling K. Brown about him. But Wendell Pierce plays it to perfection anyway.
I'm sure Sterling K. Brown could be the first black Jack Ryan when we get around to that.
Yeah, that would be a good one for me. But I do like John Krasinski having this as like a franchise for him, though, because he's really good in it.
I will watch it. I've got Amazon Prime, so I will... I just need like a day to just watch it.
Yeah, but I mean, absolutely, check out Jack Ryan. That was really something. I had a lot of fun with it.
What did I watch? I watched all of The Sinner. That was,
I've never seen any of that.
That's really good, yeah. And again, that's only 8 episodes, so you could be spat out pretty easily.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've properly started watching season 2 of Luke Cage, and I'm really digging it.
Oh, I loved season 2 of Luke
Cage.
Cage.
Yeah, I've nearly finished it. Bushmaster.
Yeah. You always knew who I was going to ask.
He's amazing.
He's so good, isn't he? You knew who I was going to ask, right? Who's the villain in that one? He's that guy is just, he plays that so terrifying.
He's ace, yeah. I think that's what the first season was missing an antagonist like that.
Yeah, because
I really like what they do with Black Mariah in this.
Yeah, she is badass.
Yeah. Misty Knight is incredible. So, like, she's more badass than she's ever been.
I know.
Like, it's so good. It even makes me like Danny Rand. In that episode, like, I've just got to that episode now.
He's so good in it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like that works. Now do that as a series.
Yeah. Like when he goes to Luke Cage's barbershop and they're like, "Hey,
I like
my
that.
bro."
Like, do that with the character all the time. Now I'm all in. Isn't Luke Cage in? Iron Fist is next week, isn't it?
Season 2 is it?
Season
really?
2 is next week. Yeah, because there's reviews out. But
what do the reviews say? That second trailer looks good.
It does. The reviews seem to be going down the road of it still feels laboured, even though it's only 10 episodes instead of 13.
Oh, that's good.
It does seem to have rectified a few of the problems of the first series, though. But it does still feel quite laboured and not interesting. But I don't know. I liked Iron Fist a lot more than most people anyway. So, I don't know.
I'm done.
I am as well. Shall we call it for this week?
I think a bit hard.
On which note, here it is. Your moment of Cage.
At least we know where the rest of the map is.
What? You know where it is? Why didn't you tell me?
Because obviously you have a tendency to overreact!